Welcome to the channel. I trust that you're doing well. My name is Kyle, and in this video, I'm going to do a step-by-step beginner tutorial on how to use Bitget's spot market. So this video is simply for folks that want to buy and hodl some cryptocurrency or sell it into stablecoins during market crashes. If you're interested in trading futures on Bitget, I have a separate tutorial for that, and I'll leave a link for that video in the description down below for anybody that might be interested. In this video, I'll show you how to deposit some cryptocurrency to Bitget, where to go if you need to buy cryptocurrency using fiat. From there, I'll show you where to find the pairings and get you familiar with the user interface. I'll show you how to buy and sell some crypto using limit orders, market orders, and even how to set some stop losses. All of that and more with some tips and tricks along the way. If this is your first time signing up on Bitget, I've left a link for you in the description of this video, as well as in the pinned comment down below. Use that link when you're signing up to receive some very nice welcoming bonuses. The promotion could be different by the time you're watching this video, but if you sign up with that link down below, you'll be able to see the promotions that are available to you. I've also left some timestamps in the description of the video down below, so feel free to skip ahead to a section that might be most relevant to you. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe. If you have to sign up, now's a good time to pause the video, get signed up, and I'll see you inside the exchange. The first thing I'll cover is how to buy cryptocurrency using fiat, as well as how to deposit cryptocurrency to the Bitget platform. If you're already familiar with this process, feel free to skip ahead a little bit in this tutorial, or use the time codes in the description down below to skip to a section that might be most relevant to you. To buy some cryptocurrency using fiat, you'd just come up here to the top left-hand side of the screen and hover over Buy Crypto. In this drop-down menu, you'll notice that they do have some P2P trading options available here, and perhaps I'll do a video on that as a separate tutorial and add it to a playlist on my YouTube channel in the future. Just below that, you can also find some third-party payment providers, so I'll go ahead and give that a click. And this brings you over to a basic order form where you can select one of 3 third-party service providers, at least at the time of recording. And these are fairly common service providers. I do see them on a lot of exchanges. I think that they're perfectly fine, but a couple things I can mention about these is if you're going to be using a third-party service provider, you will have to sign up to that service and go through the KYC process. I also find that the fees are a little bit on the high side, at least in my opinion. As an example, if you were to buy crypto using fiat using one of these service providers, you'd come up here, you'd type in the amount of fiat you wish to spend. You'll notice right here that this is set to receive Bitcoin, but if we give that a click, we can also select USDC as well as Tether. So let's just go ahead and do Tether here. On the right-hand side, you can review the order details. So you can see for the $200 purchase that we're actually only receiving 190 worth of Tether. But if we were to select a different service provider, such as this one here, you can see that they're doing a little bit better. You'll be receiving 192 Tether for the same $200. So in my opinion, the fees are a little bit on the high side here. If you were to proceed with this order, you just come down here, click on Next to complete the transaction. I imagine that in the future, Bitget will be adding more fiat gateways to their platform. So depending on when you're watching this video, you might want to come check into this and see if there's any new options available to you. Once you purchase some cryptocurrency using fiat, it'll arrive in your spot account. So to get to that, you'll come up here to Assets, and then from this drop-down menu, click on Assets. And you can see that we're currently set on the spot account. And here's where you'd find your Tether right here. If you're looking to trade derivatives on Bitget, you'd have to transfer these funds over to your futures account. Now this tutorial, I'm just focusing on the spot account, but I do have a step-by-step beginner tutorial on how to trade futures on Bitget. So I'm going to leave a link for that in the description down below for anybody that might be interested. To make a deposit to Bitget, you'll notice over here on the right-hand side that each one of these cryptocurrencies has its own deposit button. Alternatively, you'll notice that there's a deposit button located at the top here. So for this demonstration, I'll go ahead and use that deposit button and give it a click. And this brings us over to the deposit form. You'll notice that this is currently set to Bitcoin, but if it's a different coin that you want to deposit, you just give it a click and then select the coin from this drop-down menu that you wish to deposit into Bitget. I'll just leave it on Bitcoin for this demonstration. Down below, you'll have to choose the chain type, and this is important. You want to make sure that the chain type matches on both ends. If you send to the wrong chain type, you will lose your coins forever. So if we give that a click, you'll notice that we're just sending Bitcoin to Bitcoin. But if I was to change this to Tether as an example, like so, and then click on chain type, you'll notice that there's a few different options here. Some people will use the Tron network to save on fees. The Ethereum network is a fairly common one. But the point is that you want to make sure that the chain type matches on both sides of this transaction. So I'm going to go ahead and just switch this back to Bitcoin. Then we'll select the chain type. Then it'll generate your deposit address. You can also find a QR code. So if you're going to be sending in from your smartphone, you can hover over your QR code like so, and then you can just scan that in order to send your coins in. Once you've completed your deposit, you'll be able to find the assets in your spot accounts. We can just come back over here, click on assets, we're set to spot, and here's where you'll find the coins once they arrive on Bitget. Once you have some coins in the platform, you're ready to trade on the spot market. So to get to the spot market, you just come up here to where it says spot, give that a click. And here's the user interface where you can buy and sell some cryptocurrency on Bitget spot market. Dead center of the screen is your price action chart, which is showing you the asset's performance over a selected time frame. You can see that I currently have this set to a 4 hours, so each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours of time. If you want to change the time frame, just simply click on the time frame that you wish to view. So we can go to a daily and check that out, or you can go to even higher time frames such as a weekly. Now this chart is powered by TradingView, so you have access to some indicators as well as some drawing tools. Drawing tools are all found here on the left hand side. You'll find your trend lines here, and beside each one of these icons is a little tiny arrow. If you click on that, it'll expand into another drop down menu where you can find even more drawing tools. If you want to add an indicator to this chart, you'd come up right to this little icon here, give it a click, and here's where you'll find some basic indicators to add to your chart. So if you're looking for something specific such as the RSI, you could type it in like so, give it a click, and as you can see, we've added the relative strength index to the bottom of the chart. If we want to get that off the chart, we come over here, click this little X, and we've removed the RSI. Now, when it comes to technical analysis, I prefer just to simply use TradingView. This way, I have more access to data, more indicators, and even different markets. You've likely noticed that a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges charting systems are literally powered by TradingView. TradingView is free to try, and there's also a free basic version of TradingView that you can use. So I'm going to leave a link for TradingView in the description of this video, as well as in the pinned comment down below. I also have a step-by-step beginner tutorial on how to set up and use TradingView for anyone that might find that helpful. So I'll leave a link for that as well. Those resources can be found in the description of this video, as well as in the pinned comment. So I'm just going to pull that out of frame. To the left of the chart is where you'll find the different pairings as well as markets. As you can see up at the top here, that Bitget has a few different markets. They have the Tether markets, USDC markets, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. If we were to click on the USDT markets, this means that all these pairings are now quoted in Tether. So you'll need Tether in order to buy a coin using these pairings, and if you sold a coin using these pairings, you'll be receiving Tether for the sale. If we were to toggle over to USDC, now all these pairings are quoted in USDC. So if you want to buy a coin using these pairings, you'll need USDC to make the purchase, and if you sold a coin here, you'll be receiving USDC for the sale. Just simply click on the market pairings that you want, and then select the pairing you wish to trade. We're currently set to BTC versus USDT, and that's just fine for this demonstration. And over here on the right hand side is where you'll find your order book. The order book is showing us where market participants are interested in buying and selling an asset. These market participants are referred to as market makers because they're providing liquidity to the order book by placing limit orders. When a trader executes a limit order, it becomes visible on the order book for all to see. On the top side of the order book, we can see all the asks, and these are the price points that market makers are willing to sell, at least for the time being. And down below that, you'll find what's called the bids, and these are the price points that market makers are willing to pay, at least at the time of recording. In the middle column of the order book, you can see the price point that market makers have placed their orders at. In the amount column, you can see the amount quoted in Bitcoin of their orders placed at that price point. When a trader comes along and executes a market order, they'll be matched up with the best available price from the order book, and that trade will execute and be viewable under market trades. Here's where we can see successful trades that are being executed in real time. In the price column, you can see the price point that the trade went through at, and the red ones are the sell orders, green ones are the buy orders. And on the right-hand side, you can see the amount of the order that was successfully traded at that price point. And you can toggle between market trades and order book by just simply clicking on the one you wish to view. And just under the chart is where you'll find your order form, where you can place limit orders as well as market orders. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate a limit order first. First, I'll demonstrate how to use a limit order to buy cryptocurrency, and then I'll demonstrate how to use a limit order to sell cryptocurrency. The first step is to identify an area that we wish to buy the crypto at. So let's come up here to the chart, and I'll just zoom in on it with the wheel of my mouse so that we can see it a little bit better here. And before we get rolling with this, I'm going to clean up this chart a little bit. Let's get rid of these grid lines. I'm going to right click down to properties. We'll come over here to background. We'll come over to the vertical grid lines like so. Get rid of those. And let's get rid of these ones as well. Now I'm going to click on OK. Looking better already. Now I'm going to go ahead and hide some of these moving averages. So I'm just going to click this eye icon here at the left-hand side. There. Now we can see the chart a little bit better. Now let's imagine that we're viewing this chart through the lens of a bull. If I zoom out just a little bit like this, we can see that Bitcoin just had itself a little bit of a bear market rally, and it was sticking in higher lows and higher highs along the way. So we got a higher high as opposed to this one back here. And then we got a higher low right here as opposed to this one here. And then we got the higher high right here. And now Bitcoin is pulling back to the downside. Maybe we think Bitcoin's going to pull back a little bit further, maybe somewhere down to the bottom side of this range here. And perhaps we want to be a buyer down there. So what we can do is I'll come over to the drawing tools. I'll go ahead and just grab a horizontal here. And let's go ahead and just stick it on the chart. Something like that. Good enough for this demonstration. Now we can see a price point correlated to the bottom of the range coming in around 19,000. So let's come down here to the order panel and let's type that into price. 19,005. Next, we want to choose the amount of the asset that we wish to buy at that level. So we can do that by manually typing in the amount that we wish to buy. You'll be able to view your available balance just up above right here, so you'll know exactly what you're working with. Or you can even just use this slider bar to allocate a certain percentage of your available funds into that crypto. So for this demonstration, let's just go with 50%. Once you have this order panel set up the way that you want it, you'd click on Buy BTC. You'll get a little pop-up confirmation window here confirming that your order type is a limit order. You can confirm the price that you wish to be a buyer at, and it's showing you the amount of the asset that you'll be purchasing. If this all looks good to you, you just simply click on confirm. Now you've placed that order onto the order book. You can view that open order down here under open orders. You can see that the limit order comes up down below with all the information that we put in. So if price action continues to pull back and hits this level here, our order will fill and we'll purchase Bitcoin down at 19,005. If at any point you want to cancel this order, you can come down to your order panel here on the right hand side. You'll see right underneath operation, there's a cancel button. Just go ahead and give that a click. And you can see that I successfully canceled that order and removed it from the order book. Now I'll demonstrate how to sell your cryptocurrency by using a limit order. So let's come back up here to the chart. And this time, let's imagine that we're viewing this through the lens of a bear. Sure, we see Bitcoin playing out a little bit of a bear market rally here as it puts in higher highs and higher lows along the way. And perhaps Bitcoin's going to move up a little bit higher just yet before eventually rejecting and then dumping to the downside. So the first thing we want to do is try to identify an area on the chart where that could potentially happen. If we look left into recent price action history, we can see a cluster price action coming into this zone right here. So maybe it's appropriate to choose that zone as a potential area to sell. So let's go ahead and use a horizontal and let's mark this area just like so. Now we can see that price action was finding support on this area for a short period of time before it eventually got a breakdown right here, leading to a waterfall to the downside. So maybe that's a good area to place a sell order. Now we can see on the y-axis of the chart that there's a price point that correlates to that horizontal coming in at 28,644. So let's come down here to the order panel on the sell side and let's type that into price. So 28,644. Next, we need to choose the amount of the asset that we wish to sell if price action is to reach our target. And just up above, we can see our available balance displayed right here. So we can put in a custom amount down below, or we can just use this slider bar. So let's just imagine that we want to sell everything. So I'll go to 100%. And once we have this order set up the way that we want it, we'd click on Sell BTC. We'll get our pop-up window confirming the details of our order. If we're happy with this, we'd click on Confirm. Now we've placed that sell order onto the order book. If Bitcoin is to pop up and reach up to this level here, our order will fill at this horizontal and we'll be selling our asset. So on the plus side of limit orders, they do allow us to be a bit more strategic, and with a little bit of patience, we can often maximize the value of our buys and sells. But there are a couple considerations when using limit orders. For example, in our buying scenario here, maybe price action doesn't reach our order level. Maybe it just carries on straight to the upside, our order never fills, and the price moves without us. Or perhaps price comes down, fills our order at this level here, and then just continues to the downside, putting us at a loss. So it's always a good idea to have proper risk management in place, such as a stop loss. And I'll show you how to set one of those up shortly in this tutorial. In our selling scenario, maybe price just keeps dumping to the downside here. Maybe price doesn't pop up to our sell order and doesn't fill it. So we just continue to hold on to the asset as it depreciates in value. Or maybe price action does pop up, but maybe it melts right through that level, fills our order, we sell our crypto, and then price runs away without us. So those are a couple considerations when choosing to use a limit order. Now I'll demonstrate how to place a market order. Market orders are really easy to place, but there are a couple things to keep in mind when using a market order. Market orders will execute immediately at the best available price from the order book. This is going to make you a market taker because you're removing liquidity from the order book versus adding to the order book by placing a limit order. Another thing to be aware of is what's known as slippage. We all know that cryptocurrency can get moving really quickly, whether that's to the upside or to the downside. If crypto begins to melt to the upside, it's going to be chewing up all the asks in the order book really fast. If crypto begins to dump to the downside, it's going to be chewing up all the bids in the order book really quickly. Remember, a market order will fill at the best available price. So if the market is really volatile and the asset's moving really quick, you might not get the price point that you intended to fill at. This can diminish the amount of the asset that you're purchasing, or it can diminish the amount you'll receive when selling the asset. Typically, this is not a huge issue if you're trading with smaller amounts and if the market isn't volatile. Another way that slippage can be more pronounced is if you are trading with large amounts. Say you're trading with $500,000 and you place a market order. You yourself will be chewing up the order book. So if you placed a buy order, you'll be chewing up all the asks. And if you placed a sell order, you'd be chewing up all the bids. If the order book is thin and doesn't have much liquidity on it, so if you're trading an altcoin that doesn't have a ton of liquidity, you yourself will chew up that order book. And this will change your average price on your entry. So things worth considering when placing a market order. If you're trading an asset like Bitcoin or Ethereum, that's typically not going to be a problem unless you're trading with a large sum of money. Aside from that, market orders are very simple to place. To execute the market order, you'd come down to your order panel, choose if you're going to be on the buy side or if you're selling some cryptocurrency. So I'll just demonstrate by selling some Bitcoin here. So you'd come over here where it says limit order, give that a click. Down here, we'd click on market order. Next, we'll choose the amount that we wish to sell. So in my case here, I'll just go ahead and do 100% like so. And then when you're ready, you just click on sell. You get a little confirmation window here letting you know the order type. Of course, it's a market order, and then it's letting you know how much you'll be selling. Go ahead and click on confirm. Now I've successfully sold that Bitcoin at the best available price from the order book. Now I'll show you how to set a stop loss by using a trigger order. So let's come right over here and click on trigger order. And the first thing we want to do is set a condition that tells Bitget to place an order onto the order book to sell our coins. So let's come back up here to the chart and let's just imagine that we're happily holding our Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is pulling back right now, and we understand that Bitcoin is still in a bear market, at least at the time of recording. So perhaps we're thinking, if Bitcoin gets back down to this level of support, maybe support's not going to hold this time around. Maybe we want to use support as our condition to tell Bitget to place a sell order for us. We can see over here on the y-axis of the chart that we've marked support with this horizontal at 19,005. So let's come down here and put that into trigger price, 19,005. Next, we need to choose a price point that we want Bitget to place that order at. So let's come back up to the chart and grab a horizontal here. And just for this demonstration, let's just imagine we want to use these wicks right here. So we'll go ahead and mark them off with that horizontal. Now we can see the price point on the y-axis of the chart at 18,662. So let's enter that into price, 18,662. Next, we need to choose the amount of the asset that we wish to sell if our condition gets met and then our order fills. So we can see our available balance at the top of the order panel right here, and we'll come down to amount and we'll just type that in. For this demonstration, I'll just go ahead and imagine that I'm going to sell everything. Then we'd click on sell. We're getting a little pop-up order here that's letting us know that our order type is a trigger order. The trigger price, so our condition, is 19,005. This is going to tell Bitget to place an order to sell at the price point of 18,662, and it's showing us the amount of the asset that we'll be selling. If you're satisfied with that, you'd click on confirm. Now we've added that trigger order. So in the event that Bitcoin continues to retrace down to support and hit support, that's going to tell Bitget to place an order to sell at 18,662. So if price just continues to fall to the downside, that order will fill and we'll get the heck out of the way before any more damage gets done to our portfolio. Also, if price action was to get down there and hit our condition, but then bounce, because that is support, so it could get down there and it could bounce off of there, we'll still be holding on to our cryptocurrency because our order never filled. Sure, our condition got met, the order got placed on the order book, but it didn't fill because price action failed to reach our order. We can see that trigger order down here beside limit order. If we click on trigger order, you can see the details of that order right down below here. And of course, the status is waiting because as of right now, our condition hasn't even been met. If you want to cancel this order, you'd come over here to operation and you'd click on cancel just underneath it. As you can see, we've successfully canceled that order. Now I'll show you how to do this using a trigger market order. Now let's come back up here to the chart. And let's imagine that we're looking at this pullback right here. And we're thinking to ourselves, you know, this is a fairly aggressive pullback. And we can see that price action is coming into contact with this pivot point right here. If price action manages to close below that, it's going to be breaking the structure of this little bear market rally that we've seen Bitcoin in. So perhaps that's the line in the sand for us. We're thinking, you know, if price action starts to tick below this level, that's probably going to initiate a test at least back down to support. So maybe we want to set a stop loss there. So let's go ahead and grab a horizontal here from the drawing tools. Let's go ahead and just mark that wick just like so. That way we can see the price point correlating to that wick on the y-axis of the chart coming in at 20,749. So let's come down to our order panel and let's type that into trigger price, 20,749. Now down here on price, let's come over here where it says limit order, give that a click, and let's toggle it over to a market order. Next, we need to choose the amount of the asset that we wish to sell. So I'll just do the same as before. Let's just imagine we want to get rid of all of it if price action hits that level. Once you have this set up the way that you want it, you click on sell BTC. And in this little pop-up window, we can confirm the details of the order. So we can see that we've placed a trigger order with a trigger price of 20,749. Now, if price action hits that level, it's going to be doing a market order to sell our Bitcoin. So if you're satisfied with this, you'd click on confirm. Now we've placed our trigger order. This time, if price action hits our condition, it's going to sell our Bitcoin at the best available price from the order book and get us out of the way immediately. If we want to cancel any of our trigger orders, we'd come down here under operation and we'd click on cancel. Just like so. Apparently I had 2 of them there. The joys of making tutorials. And those are a couple options for placing stop losses. You can find all the trading fees on Bitget if you come right down here to the bottom of the page. Come over here and click on fee schedule. And here's where you can find the fees. So if you click on spot trading, now we can see the spot trading fees. So we have a maker fee of 0.1%, and that's if you're going to be using limit orders, and the taker fee here is the same at 0.1%, and that's going to be if you're using market orders. But when you come over here to contract transaction, you can see that the fees change a little bit here. You can see the maker fee of 0.02%, so that's if you're placing those limit orders, and then you have a taker fee of 0.06% for using market orders. If you're curious about the withdrawal fees, you can come up here, give that a click, and here's where you can find the withdrawal fees that might be most relevant to you. Now, fees could be different by the time you're watching this video. I have seen different fees during different market conditions, so it's always worthwhile to come down, check out the fee schedule to see what the current fees are. And there you have it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe. Feel free to check out some of my other Bitget tutorials, which will be on my YouTube channel in the playlist, and I'll link a couple of them down below for you as well. Thanks so much for popping by to check out this video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And until I do, have yourself a powerful day.